It's recording. Mark.
So, hi, Jackson. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. So, before we get started, how about you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Um, I'm currently taking the Red River Bit course, which is giving me a wide variety of uh, skills and knowledge in things like coding and database. I'm also uh, I also like working in like a team environment. Like I feel like I get along very well with other people, and I'm able to like get along with them like fairly quickly, and there's no trouble with that. I like to learn new things, and I feel like I learn them fairly quickly, in my opinion. And yeah, when I saw this job ad and like you weren't looking for a very specific thing and like it was very entry level, I'm like, I feel like this will help me advance myself in the correct way.
So, elaborating more on that, what did catch your eye about our application?
Um, it was the fact that uh, you wanted someone who knew all these things, and I'm like, I knew most of those things, and I knew that the things that I didn't know uh, could be like taught to me or like learned very quickly. So I wasn't worried about not being able to get the job done. And I was also looking forward to the experience of learning something new and getting my first experience in the IT field.
Um, so, could you tell us about a time that you had difficult customer and how you handled that?
Um, One time while I was working at my grocery store, a drunk customer came in like late at night, like 8:30 or whatever. They came in, they were being like very loud and like disrespectful to like the like myself and like my other coworker. So then I called down my manager who brought himself and his boss so that they could escort him out of the store without like much hassle. And um, ever since then, like that customer has not been like allowed to come into the store. And so like instead of trying to deal with it on my own and being like responsible or like liable for that situation, um, like the management took care of that problem because um, that's how they're supposed to do it. I
Right. Um, right. Moving on. What is something that people do that really annoys you, really grinds your gears?
don't know. When someone's like explaining something to you, but they explain it very poorly, and then they expect you to be able to do the thing that they were explaining to you, and like, but all they gave you was like just like the bare basics and none of really like the steps of how you're supposed to do it, and then they just leave you to it before you're able to ask them any questions. And you kind of also get frustrated with yourself because you feel like if they explained it to you, you should know it. But at the same time, you know that they didn't really explain it to you and you're just kind of left in the water on your own without knowing how to swim, so to speak.
Lack of solid instruction.
Yeah, that's a kind of a pet peeve of
Uh, Tell me about a stressful situation, how you
mine. Well, one time my manager had thought someone might have snuck to the downstairs storage space of the grocery store, and he made me go check downstairs to make sure like he wasn't down there because you don't want some random stranger around all your products and whatever, and that's not safe. And yeah, like so even though like I was like kind of scared of the situation or whatever, I went down with him because there was no one else really there to go with him. So I'm like, it's better if like I go with him, and like if he's actually down there, there's two of us instead of just him being alone. So even if something like scares me, I'm not gonna just like back away from it, so to speak. Like I'll just try and get through it as best I can.
You describe a recent life, how it affected your life, dealt with it.
Well, with the whole Corona thing going around, and then everyone's now in quarantine, our school's gone online, and I'm doing my best to be responsible and getting all the work done on time still. And I'm also, trying to stay home as much as possible to stay safe and whatever. And, you know, this, and also during this time, just like trying to uh, entertain yourself in your house, so to speak. So your life changed quite a bit, I'd say, because now you don't, and you're not going to school, you're not like going out, you're not hanging out, you're just like kind of by yourself in your house, and it's a little bit more important to know how to take care of yourself when you're alone, and while also staying on top of the things that you had to do in the first place.
So on to more some more technical questions. How much experience do you have with
Uh, I'm currently taking a class in database management, in which we've learned a lot about Oracle and SQL, which went from like learning how to create tables, learning how to alter tables, learning how to make like a diagram of those tables, as well as a variety of query searches, things like the basics like select from and wheres, and then it got more complex where we were doing joins, and then we're doing subqueries, and then we had to learn how to use like nested subqueries in some cases. And I felt like whenever there was a new question while I was going through the assignment, I kind of had an idea of how it should go, even if you had to change it up a little bit as you were kind of like learning and testing it out. Uh, but when I was actually doing it, I felt do, doing the knowing the things that I knew, I kind of knew the correct roadmap to get the results that I wanted, and I wasn't struggling for ages trying to figure one thing out.
good? Um, so apart from that, what other skills or efficiencies?
Well, I saw in your job ad that you wanted people who had a lot of experience with VMware, and I have a lot of experience with that even prior to college, and so I was fairly comfortable. I'm fairly comfortable working in an environment where you have to do work on that and be able to transfer in between the two, and making sure you're managing the correct files between a host and a VMware client, and knowing the differences that you have to make, and being sure to allocate the correct resources to make it run properly and all that.
Okay, good. So you've mentioned a lot the program that you're at. As a Red River College student, what do you think sets you apart?
Um, I feel again I get along very well with others, and I've had experience for with getting things done with a team during like a time crunch, where we would get a problem at the beginning of the day, and then we had to fix it the best we could by the end of the day. And like in that time, you had to like not freak out that something wasn't working. You just had to figure out a way to make it work and be productive part of the team. And uh, also, while at college, when you have multiple assignments that are due within a short period of each other, it was important to not spend so long taking something that would be an A already if you handed it in right then, and like spend like 2 or 3 hours making an A+ instead of just moving on to the next assignment and making sure that you get all of them done to a satisfactory level and not leave too much to like the last day or like the last afternoon, because then you're gonna have like 2 or 3 that are like really really good, but then you'll have one that's like barely passable. So it was more important to get everything to a satisfactory level and get them in with enough time to spare, so to speak.
Good. One final question here. Why did you choose IT?
Um,
IT appealing to you? What do you?
I have wanted to get into the IT field since high school, as technology was always something that fascinated me. Um, I found that uh, changing security settings back in like grade 10 during a Cyber Patriot competition and getting graded on how secure you could make your computer. Uh, that was what first sparked my interest, and then from there I got into networking, and I found it interesting how computers communicated and how you can change how they communicate. And then once I got into Bit, or I learned about Bit, I knew that this was something that I really wanted to pursue, and I really wanted to get more advanced in this field, which is why I eventually chose to go to Bit. And I'm always looking to further my knowledge in like most things IT related, which is also why I want to go to your job to develop myself further in those areas. And yeah, I don't really see I couldn't really see myself doing anything else for a long time now.
Good. All right. Do you have any questions for me?
I just want to ask, how much of a training period is there between like when you first start and then when you're actually gonna be expected to take on the workload?
So when we take you on, um, you're going to be working with teams, often personnel, people who are experienced in on. So far as the training period goes, give you an adequate time to get used to it, but you're never going to be absolutely alone. After that, you'll always have support around you that you can ask for assistance, clarification on weren't quite explained or are new. So you're never going to be quite without help there. So we'll give you an adequate time to learn the ropes, but after that, if you have questions,
Okay, thank you.
please. Thanks for coming in.
All the pleasure all mine. Thanks for having me.
Be in touch.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.